So if you're a follower of this channel, you probably know my love for German watchmaking. It has a blend of craftsmanship, distinctive design language, heritage, and general underappreciated nature in comparison to the Swiss that was a huge reason for my interest in collecting altogether. You've heard me speak of many of the key players from Glashütte and other parts of the nation, but today we look at one of my favorite independents from Germany, also responsible for creating highly hand-finished products at prices usually reserved for mainstream luxury watchmakers. The brand is Kadoka, and today we're taking a closer look at one of their signature models, the Kadoka 2. And before we look at this Kadoka 2, if you've not checked out our digital magazine, we constructed a complete guide to, at the halfway point through summer of 2025, what are the 40 best watches that we've seen all year. This has been constructed and put together by our team. Bilal.khan, who is our editor-in-chief, really did a nice job with constructing the pages, doing the copywriting, the design and layout really could be done in full print form. That's the way that we put this together. So if you want to check that out, I have a link in the description where you can download that. This is free to get, so just feel free to sign up and then be able to get that sent to you. It also has this really cool visual viewer that you can swipe through all the different pages. So very happy how this one turned out. We might do a part 2 at the end of the year if you guys like this a lot. So far, so good. A lot of positive reaction to this. If you've not seen that, I will have that in the description down below. The man and master watchmaker behind this German brand is Stefan Kadoka, who grew up in a small city of Frankfurt Oder, Germany, discovering his love of watchmaking at a young age. He was mentored by 2 master watchmakers who gave him appreciation for handmade timepieces, showing an early talent in completing his training with honors. After winning first place in a watchmaking competition, Stefan went on to take 3rd place at a national watchmaking competition. Recognized as a prodigy, Stefan achieved his Master Craftsman certificate by the age of just 22. He gained experience by training both with Hoffmann and Glashütte Original in his native Germany, where he developed prototypes and complications in their specialized workshops. Following that, Stefan moved to New York to work with Swatch Group brands, including Breguet, Omega, and Blancpain. This was the foundation for taking the leap into starting his own business, launched in 2004. Working with Austria's Habring 2 in 2018, Stefan had a co-developed movement with Habring known as the Caliber 1, inspired by both British pocket watch movements and based off of Habring 2's Felix. Used in his Kadoka 1 and 2 models, the Kadoka 2 won the Petit Aiguille Prize at the 2019 GPHG Awards. And this is awarded to watches retailing from $4,000 to $10,000 Swiss francs. Now today, Kadoka is recognized as one of the best values in independent watchmaking, and its output encompasses 3 lines. First is the Hunswerk range, which features bold designs that focus on hand engraving and skeletonization. Then there is the Heinzelstück series, which translates to unique piece. And this serves as the custom shop for Kadoka, where virtually anything goes as far as customer requests, including original engraved dial designs and movements. And finally, we come to the Handwerk range, which focuses on more conservative dial designs, more bespoke level of movements that offer customer-specific levels of hand decoration. And this is where we take more of a detailed look at the Kadoka 2 and its 24-hour complication, or probably better referred to as an AM/PM indicator, part of the larger Handwerk lineup that includes the time-only Kadoka 1 and the step display of the Kadoka 3. Now we begin with a 39mm stainless steel case, resplendent in a full high polished finish that showcases a step bezel, adding a classic old world touch. Now case height of 10.7mm offers presence without being too thick, and a 45.5mm lug to lug measurement ensures a comfortable fit on most wrists. A signed push-pull onion crown offers another classical touch, and water resistance is rated at 50 meters, with the crown being a little bit tougher to get a grip of compared to others out there. You'll find sapphire crystals front and back, offering a clear view of both the intriguing dial layout and the spectacular movement finishing that we will certainly talk about. As far as the wearing experience, the 39mm size gives you plenty to look at, assertive without being too ostentatious, as larger dress watches can sometimes be given that dial to bezel ratio. The downturned lugs maintain a pleasant and compact on-wrist feel too, without the across-the-wrist land grab often found in watches with lugs that are proportionally long. The stitched and heavily padded natural brown leather strap on this example is rendered in a sort of rustic, vintage-looking satin finish that is a tad too casual for my taste with the blue contrasted stitching, with it gently tapering to a stainless steel pin buckle. And if you do prefer a strap that's gonna be a bit more formal for you, Kadoke does offer a alligator print leather option for an upscale look. So with the title of video like this one, you might be expecting to see some horological fireworks for finishing. So let's start with teasing it out with the dial and then hit it hard when it comes to the movement. Where some of Kadoka's engraved and skeletonized dials virtually explode with energy, this one's a bit more understated, especially in this cool shade of blue. This is the dial that encourages relaxed contemplation, from its subtle and decorative details to the absence of a second hand. There is plenty of space on the dial though to show off the finely detailed grain within the sea of blue, revealing its texture upon closer inspection. The silver tone dial furniture is rhodium plated, including the circular brushed chapter rings and horizontally brushed nameplate, which features sharp beveled edges with reflective bursts. The handset is also silver colored and high polished, accented by an infinity loop as part of the hour hand, a recurring theme within the Kadoka universe. While the outer chapter ring encircles the entire dial, there's an inner ring on the upper half that highlights the 24-hour display, the most striking aspect of this dial without question. So the crown only has 2 positions, so this 24-hour scale should be more precisely described as an AM/PM indicator, being tied with the central handset to let you know whether or not you're looking at daytime or nighttime. This concept is nothing entirely groundbreaking, however, the execution of its finish is exceptional. The dome disc shows a radiant sun on the daylight half and a crescent moon and stars on the nighttime side, all carved in relief. The disc is also gold and rhodium electroplated, contrasting the warmth of the day with the cool of the evening, with a small golden triangular point set against the rhodium of the night sky. So this level of hand finishing is pretty rare in the space that we're talking about here, but we're just getting started. Now we come to one of the biggest highlights of the Kadoka 2, the manually wound caliber 124H. So the caliber is a fusion of 2 eras of watchmaking, combining new and old. From an aesthetic point of view, the look is inspired by an old English pocket watch that Stefan rediscovered in his drawer, with its function derived from a collaborative effort with Habring too. So Richard Habring is a master watchmaker from Austria who operates his own brand with his wife Maria. So Richard has worked with brands such as Longa and IWC before starting his own company, being known for his reimagined takes of working with the mechanical structure of the Valjoux 7750. This caliber 124 was developed in a similar manner, with select components being produced by Habring and then finished and assembled by Kadoka. And finished they are, that's probably an understatement. The movement might be overly ornamental for some, however you can't dispute the level of craft that is taking place here. There are different tiers of finishes for this movement, varying in complexity that you can decide as a potential owner. In this instance, you're getting the top trim of the caliber options, with the star of the show being at the center, the centrally mounted balance cock that spans half the diameter of the movement, being hand engraved and affixed with a large blue screw. The additional bridges sitting at the side of the balance cock are finished with different techniques. The first thing to call out is the frosted grain finish of the background, and this is achieved through an artisanal process where the component is rubbed in a circular motion in an oil bath with small stones to create the desired effect. And then the floral pattern that protrudes out from the central surface is created through relief engraving, a different technique from the balance cock that you'll see at center. The ratchet wheel features a snail finish with the crown wheel displaying a radial brush pattern and vertical striping being on the click. The edges of the bridges and the balance cock have mirroring anglage with the brand signed engraved plaque topping off the package, along with an assortment of polished and tempered blue screws throughout. In full, the caliber is exceptionally handcrafted for the money. From a technical point of view, this variant of the Caliber 1 trades the running seconds for an AM/PM indicator, features 18 joules, has hacking or stop seconds despite not having a seconds hand, operates at a rate of 28,800 vibrations per hour or 4 hertz, and has a power reserve of 46 hours. So when we talk about the idea of independent watchmaking, you think about there's this whole spectrum of micro brands, and then there's independence. And where I draw the line there is where is the in-house capability. If you either have a master watchmaker at the helm or you have some proprietary ideas and capabilities in-house, you're not outsourcing assembly and production, then that's where I see you starting to become an independent. When most people think of independence though, they go all the way to the high end. You think about names like Roger Smith, FP Journe, Grubel-Forsey, MB&F, and others of that same ilk. But then there's this weird middle ground of some of these brands that are out there that, and there's not many of them, that maybe aren't quite to the tier of the brands that I just mentioned, but are also not as attainable as some of the micro brands that are starting under $1,000 and going up from there. A brand like Kadoka is an interesting point of value. I mentioned Habring and Kadoka, two brands that I would say are some of the best value in independent watchmaking. Now, where Kadoka is able to separate is showing off some of this German classic flair that we've just known and loved, but also doing it in a way that is overly romantic in some of the details with some of the classical finishes. This is a watch that if you get without all of the advanced engraving and just get one of the simpler versions of this, we're talking like Rolex Submariner money, and this is a watch that's handcrafted by a master watchmaker and assembled in Germany. Is that going to be something that most people are going to vibe with? Is that the direction that most want to go? Absolutely not. And that is why there's not as many people that know about Kadoka, but that's why I wanted to talk about them. As you try to navigate the world of watchmaking and you do what I do, there are so many brands that you talk about over and over again, and that's okay. It's okay if things are popular. I don't want to be the contrarian of always saying that the path less traveled is the better one, because that might not be the case. But if you are somebody that wants something different and are looking in this price range of, say, starting just under $10,000 to around $13,000, $14,000, it's a serious chunk of change. So why not go for something that might be a bit more bespoke, something that allows you to connect more with the maker? This is a brand and a watch that allows you to do it with prices that are close to the standard of mass market industrial luxury watchmaking. And I use all those words very carefully because it's not to put down what is available in that range. If you want to get a Rolex, by all means. But what I'd like to do with videos like this is just to show, if you have that budget in mind, there are some really interesting brands out there and amazing artisans to support that would just love to have your business and are doing some pretty interesting things. What I've loved about the designs also of Kadoka is it has always made me pause. When I see this watch, yes, it's not overly complicated. It's not something that is going to ask you questions of, how does it work? But it might just get your interest enough where you're like, wow, I don't think I've ever seen that before. And when it comes to a hand engraved AM PM indicator at this price, I haven't seen that before. And even just the structure of the movement. Yes, this is using familiar ideas with some variation off of the Valjoux 7750 concept, but if you know Richard Habring and what they're doing, to sell it on that idea is not doing this movement justice. And the architecture, as you look down at the bridges and the balance cock and how it's structured, it's unique looking. You have this large balance cock that's extending all the way across the back of the movement, and the orientation of it is different than what you would see in other watches. And I think all of these elements with the hand engraving that you're seeing at this price point, it's unique, it's distinct, and it's a brand that I think deserves a lot more attention. Yes, they get recognition from some of the bigger players, the tastemakers at GPHG, but that isn't going to always reach all the different corners of the watch enthusiast community. But if you're somebody that wants to spend Rolex Omega-like money, but wants something that is a route less traveled, and you want to be more connected to potentially the artisan that's there, you respect German watchmaking and want to support a maker, I think Kadoka is one of these unique gems in this arena in the area of watchmaking. But guys, that is my take looking at this Kadoka 2. I hope you enjoyed it. I like doing these points of discovery, talking about brands that maybe a lot of people don't talk about. Sometimes that is a detriment to viewership because a lot of people like what's popular. You put Rolex in a video and people are gonna be excited about it, it seems like, at least from a viewership standpoint. But I like doing these every once in a while too. So if you do enjoy these, please give this one a thumbs up, subscribe, hit the bell icon. Great indicator for me that you wanna see more of this coverage on independent watchmaking in the future. Also, if you have an interest in independent watchmaking and you have another brand you'd like us to take a look at, leave a comment down below and we'll see if we can make it happen. If you have any experience with Kadoka as well. I know they don't produce a lot of watches, but they are definitely fan favorites for some people out there. So if you have personal ownership experience of one of these watches, love to see that as well down in the comments. In addition, definitely check out TeddyBaldassarre.com. TeddyBaldassarre.com is an authorized dealer for over 35 brands. Every purchase from our website comes with quick and fast fulfillment, dedicated customer support, and a full factory warranty for all the products that we offer. And also, how we're able to continue to produce content on this channel is through selling watches. I decided to cover this watch because I wanted to. So the flexibility of being able to sell watches allows us to keep doing this in the future. So if you are in the market, we'd absolutely love to have your business. Allows us to keep doing what we're doing here, and we love what we do. But guys, thank you again so much for watching. Be well, and I will see you all very soon.